You're gonna say you're the docent?
I'm going to say I'm a poor, simple farm boy who has been recruited. Hi, my name is Mark Anderson. I am a poor, simple farm boy, and I have spent, of course, virtually none of my life studying art, much less caring about it. With me today is Bill Buege. I would like to introduce him and let him have a chance to tell us a little bit about yourself, Bill.
I'm Bill Buege, live in town. I've lived here a long time, and I've known Marty Shepard for a long time, probably longer than anybody else in town. And I know absolutely nothing about art, except I do appreciate looking at it. And I got sucked in, I should say, drawn into this because somebody said they had free donuts here one morning a while back, and that's where the story started.
But it is my pleasure to be participating in this program here today, coming to you directly from the sumptuous studios of Marty Angelo, the well-known artist here in Albert Lea, Minnesota, specifically Georgetown, as it is known in Albert Lea, Minnesota. I should also say that with us today as our technical advisor is Sam Earhart, and we certainly appreciate his very fine technical work behind the scenes.
Thanks for coming, Sam.
Of course.
Okay, I got to say this. Okay, for those of you who are interested in art, this very same video will be available for you on Marty Angelo's website, which is coming very soon. Now, she's going to call it the Docent's Report, which I think is appropriate because she absolutely has two excellent docents here, as anybody can see. Now, the title under discussion today is called Jane. It's a jungle out there, probably hearkening back to Jane and Tarzan, if you will. The painting is for sale. It is $135 framed, $160 unframed, and $165 framed. Now, let's start with this, Bill. You and I have spent countless hours, wouldn't you agree, preparing for this performance here today?
No.
Well, all right then. Bill, I would like you to tell us a little bit about what you see as the technical efforts here, Marty's artistic techniques that she uses to express herself in this painting.
Well, that's kind of a leading question into something I know nothing about. But let me tell you about me and that painting. When I did get sucked into the studio one morning for the free donuts, I was walking around and this painting was on the floor. Not face down on the floor, it was propped up against something, but it kind of drew my attention in such a way that I thought it was kind of weird and I really didn't like it. But so it got stuck in my mind. Later, I saw the same picture on the wall down at the interchange, our local coffee hangout. And it happened to be right across the room from me, so I couldn't help but look at it. I kept looking at it for all the time I was there. So it really got entrenched into my mind. And I didn't know why, because I really didn't like it, but it was rather intriguing. And our artist, I think, saw me looking at that, and that's why we got here. And then another time, our docent, by the way, there's just one docent here, and I'm just Joe Blow off the street.
Thank you, Bill.
And we got into a discussion about this, and the artist, the owner of the studio, overheard us. And that's why the two of us are here now.
Bill, I noticed, first of all, let's talk about the techniques Marty Angelo has used here. You notice that she has used a lot of these stripes. She has used some spots. You know, to me, that calls out animals. Why do you think that it brings out these animal type suggestions in her art here today?
I don't know, because it really doesn't fit, does it? With a young lady, with animal skins around her, and nothing seems to really fit in that picture, which maybe is why it's kind of intriguing.
Now, Marty Angelo is known as a specific type of artist's theme. She is known as an abstract figurative. Have you heard her discuss that before?
A little bit, but the first time I saw it is there's a sign on the wall here that says abstract figurative. I didn't know what that was.
Do you know?
A little bit.
Really? I don't have a
because-
clue myself.
Well, I Googled it.
Ah, good man.
She did a little bit.
Ah,
And then it was even more confusing because actually the two words are opposites of each other. For the transfigurist, it means this is applied more to reality, and abstract is subtracted from reality. So she put the two together in that sign up here.
yes.
And then she said, yes, this is the kind of painting she does.
Yeah. It's kind of like an artist has the power of almost a godlike character over this work of art. Isn't that right?
Yes.
It's kind of a
Do
control
what she
issue.
wants to do.
Yeah. Yeah. Can I just tell you what I see in this
Oh,
picture?
please do.
All right, I'd love to. What I see happening here is yes, she's called it Jane, it's a jungle out there, but I think really what this is a statement about Eve and Adam, God, and the snake in the Garden of Eden, which actually fits with the theme facetiously, Jane's, that girl's name is Jane, it's a jungle out there. Because what I see happening is those stripes represent animal skins. There are leopard or zebra skins making the chair. And the chair, by the way, is a high-back chair, something like what we're sitting in, almost like thrones. She has hands and arms loosely, and I mean very loosely, draped across the armchair. And I would say, doesn't that bring us back to the idea of the snake in the Garden of Eden? She's skinned the doggone snake and she's using them as sleeves on her clothes, for Pete's sake. The dots on the arms even bring you to think about leopards and things like that. You know, what she's doing is she's saying, this woman, this Jane or Eve, has conquered the nature. She's conquered nature. Now, why would she do this? Remember what happened in the Garden of Eden? Jane was tempted by the devil and said, forget what God said about the apple. He's just trying to keep you basically dumb, stupid. If you eat that apple, you'll be as smart as God. And I suggest to you that this represents Marty Angelo's statement about how she felt. There's a certain defiance of God in this picture. She's holding that apple in her hand, and I'm going to just make sure I point that out. And she's saying, okay, God, here's the apple. What are you going to do about it? Yes. I think that is the message here. You look at this whole thing, and what you notice on her head, the very top of her head, is a garden. It's a garden. So, once again, she calls forth, she evokes the image of the Garden of Eden. What don't you see here?
I don't see much of that.
What do you see?
Well, I was more self-centered, and you're centered more on the artist or the artist's thoughts. So I was wondering why that picture caught my eye when it's on the floor, kind of out of vision, and what it meant. And what would this mean to somebody else? Why did it get my attention? It's got a wow effect. something just stops you cold. She's a stopper in there. And why is that? Well, it's quite colorful. Color is very attractive. And she's got that apple in her hand. Why does she have an apple in her hand? Most pictures like that of a fine young lady, I expect her to be sitting there with a fine dress, frilly, very dressy, and have a long cigarette holder in her hand instead of an apple. But it isn't that way. And I was wondering why she's in that chair, and her body's just a little bit out of kilter in that chair. It's like she's either going to get up or she's going to get back.
So we don't know whether she's coming or going. Is that what you're saying?
We don't know what it is. We don't know why she has that apple in her hand, and why her sleeve's all kind of twisted up, like she's going like this, waving around. And maybe the beads in the sleeve of her dress are heavy, kind of sagging down, and her other arm is very, very relaxed. So we don't really know what's going on with her. And the look on her face, she looks very, very serene and forlorn, and she's thinking about something. And right now, she's looking right at me. And when I sat in that chair yesterday, looking at this picture, she was looking down at my feet.
Do you feel like her eyes are following you?
It's kind of weird.
Do you feel that she has any resemblance to Frida Kahlo?
The hat.
The hat.
The hat. Or flowers, if it is a hat, something in her
Or
hair.
Carmen Miranda?
I don't know Carmen Miranda. I don't know Frida Kahlo either, but I know her pictures always have flowers on her head. And another thing that struck me, she's sitting in that chair. And originally I thought, well, that's some kind of a fleece, soft and fleecy, almost like you want to touch it. But if you look closely at that, there are little hairs coming down there. That is a zebra skin, which is like horsehair, probably not very comfortable to sit in.
So you're saying that Marty Angelo has very meticulously even provided hairs of a zebra in her pictures. That's a terrific effort, don't you agree?
Yeah, and I think it'd be kind of uncomfortable sitting in that chair, and I think that dress would be uncomfortable as well. So I think that picture offers a lot. It's color and texture and form and lines. All these things come into play with abstract art. Well, I was going to say that abstract art is pretty interesting. It is weird, it's strange, and it's not like looking at a photograph. And it's like if you keep doing the same thing all your life, you don't get anywhere, you don't get anything, you just keep putting up with the same thing. But the abstract art gives, as you mentioned, the artist a chance to do something different, do what the artist wants to do, and portray the effect that you get as a viewer. And a picture like that hanging on your wall in your home would probably be a pretty attractive conversation piece. And you might want something like that.
Well, Bill, thank you for those very interesting comments. I just want to close now for the benefit of those who will come after us and observe this. The folks out who are looking at this video are all invited to come on out to Georgetown here in Albert Lea. Check out the Marty Angelo's studio. And if you want to be a guest critic yourself, you want to be like Bill and me, this is your chance. All right, thanks.